sight. Warning and magical sight for 10 seconds when an enemy ward spots you. Lasts 90 seconds with one charge. Gives you a warning. Okay. So this will pretty much give you, like flashing light, hey, you're sitting on a ward, don't be an idiot. Like, you're on top of a ward. I think that's kind of cool. Merc Wolves, or Wolves, gives you Rift Spirit. Summons a Rift Spirit that watches over a portion of the jungle. Lasts a minute and a half, but the timer goes down when the spirit chases enemies. Cool. I don't know if you get to choose where that is, but it'll obviously just stalk enemies and stuff like that, like a wolf would do in real life. Alright, Gromp, or the Frog, or the White Camp. Smiting Gromp grants Gift of the Toadstool. Attackers are poisoned for 6 plus 6 per level magic damage over 3 seconds. Lasts 90 seconds. It's kind of cool. Red Brambleback, or Red Buff, restores 20% max health for smiting it. Smiting Blue restores 25% max mana. I really like that, in my opinion. That's got some good play to it there. Monster stat and reward changes. I'll just skip the paragraph because I don't like reading. Small camps have hit the jungle gym. Alright. They now respawn every 100 seconds instead of 50 seconds. Damn. Damn. It's going to be harder to do God Deer, as someone just said in my chat here. Damn. So you're really going to have to plan your jungle routes here. Maybe you do a full clear and then you actually go gank instead of just play Shyvana, Udyr, Yi, and just farm until 30 minutes. Now that's not going to be possible, honestly. Base health, attack damage, gold, and experience of small jungle camps increase 20%. So they're harder to do, spawn less, but they give a little bit more gold. Greatly increased the attack damage scaling of small jungle camps through the game, and the healing scaling up to level 12. Damn, that's huge. Alright, raptors, or chickens. I'm calling them chickens. I'm never calling... They're not a raptor, dude. A raptor has, like... It's a dinosaur, man. Alright, large chicken. Experience is increased by 20. The damage is increased by 15. And MS is increased by 30. Little chicken. XP up, damage up, MS up. So, obviously, just harder to clear. The blue buff, its base health increased 500 and the damage is increased 13. That's pretty huge. Base health of red increased 300, damage increased by 20. So, ouch. That's going to be taking some hits, man. Blue and red camp rewards. XP nerfed off of blue and red. Gold is nerfed. XP for smaller is increased by a lot, and gold is increased. So now, the whole camp overall, you're not going to just see a huge spike of XP off your buff. You're actually probably going to have to, if I calculate this right, I don't know if you're going to hit level 2 off of just the XP. They took, what is that? Hang on, I'm going to calculate this real quick. So you gain an extra, what is that, 30, so 60, and you get nerfed 160. So you lose 100 XP per buff. So you're not actually going to hit level 2 off the first buff, I'm pretty sure. You have to do first buff and side camp to hit level 2, which is absolutely game-changing, because that is... I don't know how leashing's going to work now and stuff like that. That is crazy. So, yeah. Jungle experience pacing. I actually want to read this. Champions gain 10% less XP for each level they are above the camp they are killing. Penalty is capped at 50%. So, you can't always, just say you get all your camps and then you get a triple kill and you're just 2 levels above everything. You're not going to continue to snowball as hard. It's going to reduce that snowball a little bit. But in my opinion, you won't see that big of a deal with that. But just less snowbally there in the early game. Embarrassing deaths in the jungle. Even pros do it. Red buffs and blue buffs no longer fall off when a minion is executed by a jungle camp, so it'll go through your death. Whatever, hopefully you don't get executed, so you shouldn't see that perk too often. But if you do and you're noob like Broken Shard, Kappa, you'll still have your buff. Jungle items. This is huge. Absolutely game changing in the preseason here. Hunter's Machete increased by 75 gold, and they removed the 10 attack damage versus monsters, 5 damage reduction versus monsters. You have a new passive, deal 30 magic damage on hit to monsters over 2 seconds and gain 7 health and 3 mana while in combat with those monsters. Oh, thank goodness, Hunter's Machete can now only be purchased if you have Smite as a summoner spell. Boom. No more Wraith, Karthus, Oriana, farming up those side camps. No longer available. Have to have Smite to get this item. I like that, even though you don't see it too often, but I think that's smart, just to make sure, you can't have someone screwing over the jungle. So we'll go ahead and go with Poachers Knife. This requires Hunter Machete plus 350. The passive, when you smite and kill a large monster in the enemy jungle, the cooldown of smite is halved. Halved. And you gain 20 bonus gold, and you gain 175% increase MS, decaying over 2 seconds. So it's kind of like getting a Jinx passive, zoom into the next camp or something like that, So it's pretty big. I like that. Passive, the jungler deals 45% damage on hit to monsters over 2 seconds and gains increase. So it's pretty much a buffed form of the standard machete there on that passive. Or you could buy Ranger's Trailblazer, which is Hunters plus 350. The cooldown of Smite is reduced by 15, so this is just overall 15 seconds off Smite. You don't have to Smite and kill something to reduce it. Smite also deals half damage to all monsters and enemy minions near the target and stuns them for 1.5. So this is your AoE kind of Smite, and that stun is pretty huge. So it says all monsters and enemy minions. So you could effectively go in a wave and cancel out the wave for 1.5 seconds. Or just really destroy the wave if your Smite's strong enough to kill all the minions. Casting Smite on a monster restores 15% of missing health and mana. That's pretty big, in my opinion. Alright, I'm going to read chat for a second here. Alright, passive, again, increased damage. It's the same exact thing as Poachers Knife, just a buffed form of that blade there. Or machete, sorry. Next up, Skirmisher's Saber, Hunters plus 350. Smite can be cast on enemy champions, marking them for 6 seconds. While marked, you deal bonus true damage to them on hit. Have vision of them and reduce their damage to you by 20%. So this is gank heavy junglers want this item here. Because one, it gives you vision so you can chase them down in the jungle, and obviously you do more damage to them. So champions like Lee Sin, Warwick, Xin, Jarvan, they're all going to really want this because they don't really, they can farm up, but if you want to be aggressive, this is what you want to go for with the ganking there. And same exact passive there, increased damage and regen there. Stalker's Blade, Hunters plus 350. Smite can be cast on enemy champions, dealing, this is just flat up dealing, and this is for like the AP casters, and reducing their movement speed by 50% for 2. So, say you're on Soraka jungle, I don't know why you would be, it's stupid now, but if you were, you're not going to be auto-attacking a lot to get that true damage off, so now you just get that flat damage with the Stalker's Blade. So this is more for your AP junglers if you want to go about that route. Alright. Let's go ahead and move on here. Enchantments, so there's, I believe, 3 tiers. You get your Hunter's Machete, and then you choose to go to any of those 4 items, and then again those items scale into a even stronger item here. So there's 3 tiers to jungle items. Enchantment, I think you can enchant any 4 of the original will go up here. You can enchant Poachers Knife, Rangers Trailblazers, Skirmisher Saber, and Stalker's Blade, and you can do any of these enchantments on them. It's like a boot enchantment. So you can go any way, and then you can go any enchantment. So there's, 16 possible different variations that you can do? Yeah? God, it's been a while since I've done that. Yeah, I think 16 different possible variations there of your jungle item, which I think is freaking cool. So, first up, Enchantment Devourer. It needs a dagger plus any upgraded hunter's machete plus 600. Total cost 2250. They're all going to be the same total cost. This gives you 50% attack speed and magic damage on hit plus 40. So it's Wit's End in a sense. Exactly like Wit's End, except you don't have the MR buff per heavy attack. And killing large monsters increases the magic damage by 1%. Killing champions or getting assists is 2%. So this is your kind of Wit's End and Feral Flare in a sense, if you will. Boom. So, in a sense, this is good for those farm-heavy junglers who want to scale into the game. Alright, next up we have Enchantment Juggernaut, which is Kindle Gem plus Ruby Crystal plus any Hunter's Machete plus 250. So 2,250 gold, gives you 500 health, 10% CDR, and 35% tenacity. This was your old Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Nothing new there. Enchantment Magus, Fiendish Codex plus Hunter's Machete plus 680, gives you AP and CDR. This is your Wraith, pretty much. Nothing new there. Warrior, Brutalizer plus Hunter's Machete plus 163, same amount of gold. Gives you 45 AD, 10% CDR, and 10%, or 10 arm 10. So, you take that Brutalizer now, and you have another chance to upgrade that. Instead, normally junglers just went Lizard Elder if you're going Brutalizer, and then Brutalizer, never touched Brutalizer again, then they went tanky or more damage. Now you have another option to use that Brutalizer and get... I'm assuming that honestly just gives you more AD because the Brutalizer already gives you that CDR and armor penetration, so... Yeah, and it only costs 163 gold to upgrade that, so more than likely, if you do go Brutalizer on your jungler, you're just going to upgrade this right away because it's super cheap to do so, and you get that extra AD out of it. So that's your only reasoning behind it, but it's so cheap, you might as well get it if you're going to get Brutalizer. Next up, Elixirs. Elixir of Iron, this is new, 400 gold, gives you 25% increased size. That's OP. You get a 6-stack Cho'Gath and a Teemo. You're not going to be able to click that damn Teemo. That's the new meta. Calling it right there. Cho'Gath, Teemo, OP combo. Not going to be able to click the Teemo. Sitting under that Cho'Gath. But back to the actual patch. 25% increased size, 25% increased slow resistant, 25% tenacity, and Path of Iron buff for 3 minutes. Path of Iron buff. Moving leaves a path behind that boosts allied champions' movement speed for 15%. So it's pretty much like a captain's boot. So this is for really tanky frontliners that this will allow you to continue to tank, absorb damage, and get off your CC abilities without getting chain CC'd as well. And have captain boots. Elixir of Ruin, this is new, 400 gold. Gives you 250 health, 15 bonus damage to turrets, and Siege Commander buff for 3 minutes. Siege Commander nearby minions give 15% bonus damage to turrets and gain movement speed based on your movement speed. So that synergizes really well with Baron buff, and you're going to have crazy siege potential with minions. So I like that there. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, let's get back to that. Okay. New up, Elixir of Sorcery, 40 ability power, some mana regen per 5, and sorcery buff. Damaging a champion or turret deals 25% true damage. This effect has a 5-second cooldown versus champions, but none versus turrets. Pretty cool. Elixir of Wrath, Bloodlust, 25% AD, and the buff or whatever, dealing physical damage to champions, heals for 10% damage dealt Scoring an assist or kill extends the duration of the flask for 30 seconds. I like